I tried to quit dozens of times, hundreds of times. So it really not only impacted my grades and my life and everything else, but it also impacted my relationships.
I think it's like Treasure Island in Pinocchio. It's all pleasure with no responsibility. That's deadening. It's parasitical in a sense. And
you know what? Gay porn, straight porn, it's all good.
Porn is good. MindGeek, the owner of the $1.5 billion adult website Pornhub, would most probably make a strong case in defense of that statement. But while it may be good to some people, it is certainly not good for the huge market the porn industry has, especially men. By the end of this video, you will know the dangers of porn and how it is destroying men. During a particular survey, it was reported that sexual addicts were 23 times more likely than those without a problem to state that discovering online sexual material was the worst thing that had ever happened in their life.
To many nowadays, porn is the #1 teacher on sex education. And if that's the case, it's only fair that we ask ourselves, what curriculum does this teacher use?
If this doesn't spell disaster, then we don't know any more. Of the many dangers of porn we will share with you in this video, you need to understand that they are equally destructive. And the truth is it gets worse. The longer you stay in that state and refuse to embark on the journey to gain total freedom from porn, the worse it gets. But you can be free from it, and yes, it is possible.
Show me.
Bodily harm. One of the dangers of porn is its ability to profoundly affect our bodies, including the contraction of sexually transmitted diseases. Porn is a high advocate of the non-use of condoms, influencing its viewers, leading to a promiscuous lifestyle where its victims look to have sex without condoms. The prevalence of various diseases such as HIV/AIDS, herpes, and others thus becomes uncommon. Most of the porn industries ensure their actors and actresses take specific health tests before shooting a production. But how many people know that? Mental instability. A significant part of porn addiction that people underrate is its impact on the viewer's mental health. Continued viewing of pornographic materials can distort your mental disposition. The initial impact on our mental health is its ability to be presented as a natural sexual activity. When the viewer begins to think this way, it incorporates itself into his thinking, making him or her reorient his beliefs about how sexual intercourse. Again, another decisive mental reorientation that occurs as a person continually views porn is to think that it is not harmful. After all, he is not harming anyone, and it cannot possibly have any significant effect on them as they are merely watching it. How wrong they are, as you will later find out going forward. Please subscribe to our channel for more unique and informative content like this. Research has indicated that people who think this way are more prone to internalize abnormal sexual behaviors they witness in pornographic productions. Some engage in the most perverse sexual acts with their partners or the more extreme forms such as bestiality or sadomasochism. Experts term this kind of psychological order permission-giving beliefs, and it is rightly so. This mental inversion permits the victim to alternate his reality, especially regarding sexual activity. Three foundational beliefs characterize this anomaly. Men are purely sex-driven. Sex is just for fun, and women are merely sex objects. If a man is exposed to this kind of thinking for prolonged periods, there is no telling what lengths he will go in exploring these false realities. Poison parent. The processes of life are set, and they are the only ones who do not give excuses. Suppose a process of life, such as sexual intercourse, is set into motion with the right conditions in place. In that case, pregnancy will follow without delay or consideration for your readiness to become a parent. Let's consider how pornography increases the incidence of unprotected sex and sexual promiscuity, especially in premarital sex and extramarital sex. This is its roots in men's ability to see their wives as less sexually attractive due to porn addiction. This makes them want to explore with other partners, sometimes in extreme forms, a point we discuss further ahead. These unhealthy sexual behaviors can result in pregnancies and childbirth, which neither the man nor the woman may be ready for. Thus, by a somewhat longer cord, Pornography ends up weaving into society bitter, unprepared fathers. Such a phenomenon leads to increased child abuse, poor parent-child relationships, and a general lack of affection for the children born out of this wedlock. Poor productivity. There have been several incidences where people have been caught viewing pornography content in the office, on airplanes, in coffee shops, in libraries, and sometimes even in church.
It's really, really bad.
Yet, it's that bad. And while many arm themselves to confront anyone who would try to approach them about it, many do it with their hearts in their hands, hoping not to be caught. And yet they mostly end up being caught.
Busted.
Many people have lost their jobs because they couldn't control their addiction to porn. I had confessed to my Christian boss my problems on the computer before. He told me, if it happened again, I was fired. That makes sense, but his threat was not enough for me to stay sober. One victim recounts. Apart from its tendency to make you lose your job, porn addiction can decrease your motivation for anything productive.
So the whole front part of our brain, this is what makes us human in general. Usually in sexual addiction, there's some low activation here. Our CEO drops off, we don't make good decisions.
In recent studies, researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development have indicated that men exposed to prolonged sessions of viewing porn generally become lazier. They reported that functional connectivity of the right caudate to the left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex was negatively associated with hours of pornography consumption. The dire consequence of this discovery is how pornography can cause poor decision-making abilities, and even worse, alter the brain reward systems and their functions. These factors can go a long way to changing one's standard of living for the worse. Aggression. Did you know that over 42% of online pornography contains some form of violence? A study revealed that most violent sex scenes shot in pornographic content involved non-consensual sex. The aggressive aspects of porn are more dangerous, especially with regard to men, because they are more prone to act out what they see in these pornographic materials. And if such men suffer from psychotic disorders, the tendency and the danger are even higher.
In one study, 80% of survivors of prostitution say that clients showed them pornography to illustrate what they wanted. While
many women whose partners have abused indicate that the culprit was either a frequent visitor to pornographic material or watched it while effecting the abuse. If you thought that was bad, hear this. There is a more subtle form porn that affects men in the aggression department, and it's even more dangerous. The rape myth acceptance is the term coined for it. This interprets as having a reduced concern for rape victims, a lack of empathy for sexually abused victims, including children, and sometimes the high tendency to resort to rape if the opportunity presents itself. The dangers of porn are real and deadly. But the good news is that there are ways to quit it. Here is some premium advice. Porn addiction and its accompanying destruction thrive in secrecy. Mastering the courage to open up to someone you trust is a significant step to overcoming this issue. So be bold. People are more willing to help than you think. Do you think you can identify people who may be victims of porn addiction from the points listed in this video? Let us know in the comments section. Until next time, stay free.